Wolverhampton Wanderers nil, Manchester City 3, Janusz Michallik. And I'm not sure City even got beyond second or third gear. Very impressive without even being anywhere near their best.
Yes, I mean, before this game, I looked at it. Obviously, it was a best attack against best defense. Well, that defense was tested. Wolves obviously not conceding much so far. What was it, 55 seconds in, and a great movement. I mean, if you look at the first and third goal, right, you probably put that in coaching schools and make sure that kids watch it in a way how simple football can be: a simple overlap and a great pass, great runs to the near post, and somebody on the second putting it away, and then the third with Foden similar. So I mean, just beautiful football, fundamental, and not all that hard, but obviously executing that sometimes, Mark, is difficult. But not when City are involved.
We've thrown so many superlatives at Manchester City, certainly this season, but over the past 2 or 3 years under Pep Guardiola when they've been vintage City. But what is it that most impresses you about City that some people might take for granted?
Well, I think if you look at City, versatility of all the players. I mean, you can just stick everyone everywhere, right? And you look at even in the back. Some may say, well, it's somewhat unsettled. We don't really know what the best center back pairings is, or we don't know who's going to be on the right or left. It almost doesn't matter. If you look at John Stones against Borussia Dortmund, wonderful goal, playing right back. He's playing right back right now. You look at Ruben Dias, maybe one constant in it. Ake has been very, very good, but at this time he didn't feature. Akanji comes in and looks the part, obviously, and you have Cancelo right back playing left back. So it seems like they're all over the place, but I'm starting to wonder. Maybe it just doesn't matter. Kyle Walker obviously didn't start today as well. So in the midfield, you can change that. You can play Bernardo Silva in the front three. You can play even De Bruyne. So I think these players understand very, very well the system. That's obvious, and are capable of playing in every position.
Okay, you were a defender when you used to play. If you and your teammates in defence were playing against Erling Haaland, what would your manager say to you to try and stop someone who, at times, looks like he can't be stopped?
Yeah, don't overcommit. Understand that he's capable of doing everything. So don't take things for granted, because sometimes defensively you think, no, he can. No, he won't go into that spot. No, so it's one of those things that it's very, very hard. Look, I mean, the truth of the matter is that he is making mockery of the Premier League right now. He really is. I mean, we may be on the verge of history. We don't know. 11 goals in the Premier League, and we know the records. Alan Shearer and Andy Cole. I was in a obviously 22 league team, but Mo Salah currently, I think, statistically holds the record as it is right now with 11 goals. Mark, who knows how far he's going to get?
Is Haaland unstoppable?
I think to a degree he is. I mean, he is, because of what he can do today. I mean, we've talked about his goals from the six. Most of the goals coming inside the 6 yard box. The rest of them were coming in the penalty area. Today, he scores a goal from outside the penalty area with his weaker foot. And yeah, it wasn't a cleanly hit. Maybe you'd expect that from his right foot, but he can score that. So he's adapting to the Premier League tremendously. Look, I think we all knew that, right? I mean, we've seen already what he's done for Manchester City in the Champions League as well. He's been doing that at Dortmund as well. He's got more goals in the Champions League than games. So he's the sort of player that at his age, with his pace, with his first step, ability to score every which way in the air, left foot, right foot, and his strength. It is very. I don't know what unstoppable means, because you have to foul him, but you have to be careful with that as well. Where do you foul him when most goals come from inside the penalty area or inside the 6 yard box? So at this moment, it's nearly impossible.
Well, the interesting thing about him is he doesn't have anywhere near as many touches in a game as some of the other Manchester City players because that's not his type of game. In fact, he came out and said his dream is to score 5 goals in a game with 5 touches. And he's done everything else in football, so I wouldn't back against that. 2-0 up. He's got the second, Haaland. What's Nathan Collins thinking about?
Yeah, I think he knew he was late. It's one of those that, we often say that when these things happen that you laid, but I think he should have known well ahead. He was never getting to that ball. I think it surprised him, and it was reckless. I mean, I've seen people talking about already how reckless and intent. We never know about intent. I don't think it was intentional. I think in the end there you could see he twisted his ankle a little bit, so it wasn't studs up, but certainly was reckless. He was always going to be second best, and obviously a right decision. But I don't know if I'd be crucifying him for that, because I've seen that already. And my gut tells me that he was just so late. And in the end, with that momentum, there was no way of pulling out of that.
17 points from 7 games. That means they've dropped 4 points, Man City. So they're not perfect. But can anybody stop them, Janusz?
Well, I think recent history teaches us that, of course, the competitiveness of the Premier League, there's going to be times, but this is certainly already a warning sign to the rest of the league. Keep up with the Joneses or else, right? Remember last season, they've had a worse start. This time, 2 draws so far. And Manchester City, as we know, can go on that streak, on a run of 10, 11, or 12 games. We've seen Liverpool do that as well. But for Liverpool, that has been a very bad start. So, yes, there will be teams that will be taking points away from Manchester City. But I worry about these streaks because it's not how many, it's when you take them. And can you keep up and go on a winning streak like City very often do, right? So it is a warning sign early this season for sure.
It is indeed. Next up after the international break, the Manchester Derby. Can't wait for that one.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.